Now, it's a very different track that we got here this weekend. Townsend, take us through it.
All right, well, let's go around this place. It starts off the starting grid there in black at the top of your screen, and they go roaring down to turn 1, which has got a big undulation as you go over it, then heavy braking for turn 2, and then you enter the dirt. Turns 3, 4, and 5, all on dirt. It's starting to really get grooved in here as we move through the preliminary rounds. Then you're up and over the jump, and then your penalty box is just out of turn 6. If you jump a start, that's where you're going to serve your penalty. You continue to wind left and left and left. This thing is like a cyclone. Only one right-hand corner, turn 11. It puts a huge demand on the outside tires, right front and right rear. Now, the Joker lap, your Cobalt Tools Joker lap is right here in yellow. You're not allowed to take that on the first lap, but you have to take it once and only once at some point during each race. Finish.
We now look forward to the second part here in Los Angeles. Can VW do the double again, or what can Block do as our championship leader? Welcome back to trackside here in Los Angeles. A lot of Subaru guests here, a lot of Subarus in the car park, together with a great display, including Richard Burns' World Rally Championship Subaru, and also this year's Rally America winning car from David Higgins. We've had a great season though so far this year, and after the 8 races we've had 6 different winners. Ken Block winning 3 races, Tanner Faust at Daytona, DC going to PK Jr., Scott Speed the first part here in LA, Sandell in Detroit, and Ericsson in Daytona. At the grid as we line up for this first of our semi-finals, the pole position is taken by Scott Speed ahead of Steve Arpin and Brian Deegan on our royal purple grid.
And then going back to row 2, David Higgins representing Subaru, Sebastian Ericsson, and Ken Block, who's going to have to try to force his way up for a better starting position in the final, and then Brian Wong taking up that last row.
Travis Pastrana was rolled onto the grid, but the car was leaking fluids. He's been wheeled back. Let's hope they can get that car ready for the LCQ later. On board with Brian Deegan. What a demon starter he can be in the first few corners. Scott Speed, the winner of the first part here in Los Angeles, and Ken Block, he needs solid points here in this second part in Los Angeles.
And watch for Brian Deegan on that front row, but the outside, Brian Deegan knows I've got to find a way to force myself over to the inside of turn 2. There could be big drama.
Okay then, when the red lights go out, there's a pause. Wait for the greens. We're going Los Angeles! What a brilliant start by Brian Deegan. He's left Steve Arpin sitting in the middle there, and it's Scott Speed who's got the inside line. Ken Block goes through. It's like a NASCAR race, 2 by 2.
It's a freight train up the inside as Arpin pushes Deegan out wide onto the dirt. Deegan miraculously hangs on to third. What a great piece of car control.
Spectacular stuff by Brian Deegan. He knows how to drive on the dirt. He's been doing that for the majority of this 2015 season, but still it's Scott Speed who leads from our championship leader, Ken Block. He needs those solid points today. Deegan in third, and there's a bit of a moment there for one of the Olsberg's car. That's Ericsson, the man second in the championship, side by side with Arpin.
And the reason is back there is nothing but go for it attitude. You've got to be the top 3 to transfer. You do not want to have to go to the LCQ. And Ericsson, who's really struggled so far this weekend on pace, is under big attack from Arpin. Arpin now looking up the inside.
Arpin in the orange car, Ericsson with the yellow wing on the back. That's a half spin. How did he hold it? David Higgins, Rally America champion.
Oh no.
For the 7th time this year. 3 abreast over the jump. Arpin gives Ericsson another nudge.
Arpin is in a big hurry because he is losing pace to the front 3. If he waits too long here, he's going to not have a chance to make the transfer spot, and now he's by.
Now he's got through, and Ericsson goes back. That's cheeky, isn't it? As Arpin goes over the sausage curb, there's bits of a car rolling down the road, and it's David Higgins who takes the Cobalt Tools lap for the first time, and he nudges Arpin. Arpin is all arms and elbows. He's on the lock stop, but he holds it. This is brilliant.
How did Steve Arpin hang on to that one? He was absolutely drilled in the rear, and now we're understanding from race control that there will be a stop-and-go penalty for Steve Arpin for jumping the start.
Oh, goodness me, all that hard work is now for nothing. So still leading is Scott Speed from Ken Block. There is the penalty box. Stop. Oh, it must seem like a century before the lollipop comes up, and now Steve Arpin gets going again.
Look at Ericsson's car, all of that contact, the fender rub now on the left rear tire. There goes the Ballard in the chicane, smoke pouring off the back. There was big contact with Higgins and Wong on that lap. Now Wong has not taken the Joker here, so Higgins has, and Ericsson has taken the Joker. Your first three leaders have not taken the Joker either.
And David Higgins comes through, the man from the Isle of Man. As I said, won for the 7th time Rally America Championship as we are riding on board with Scott Speed. He is level at the top with absolute wins here in Global RallyCross with 6 wins together with Ken Block. We're looking out of the back of the Volkswagen Beetle and look at how smooth he is.
Look, I was just going to say how smooth the hands and the shifting are from Scott Speed. This is a guy that is firmly on top of his game, but look at Deegan. Takes the Joker, and that is Ken Block just trying to get to the outside to hold on to second.
So Ken Block holds that second place. Deegan was momentarily up into second place. Fabulous start to the second part here in Los Angeles.
Deegan's going to get them side by side over the jump.
He's ahead. He's ahead. He's got the inside line. Ken Block goes sideways. Brian Deegan has the line. Oh my goodness me. This is fantastic.
Ken Block, that was more sideways than any of his Gymkhana videos. He was almost backwards there outside off the jump. And look at Brian Deegan starting to pull away. He's just done a terrific job this weekend. He is not a full-time competitor in this series, so he shows up a little bit short of track time versus everybody.
Now, this is the last lap, but Ken Block there with the Hoonigan Racing Ford Fiesta has the opportunity to take the Joker lap. That's a shorter lap through the last corner. It'll save himself about a second and a half, and he might be able to leapfrog ahead of the rockstar Ford Fiesta of Deegan.
It's going to be close because Deegan has a pretty nice gap here. It should be very, very close as they come to the Joker. Critical for Deegan to keep it clean in this last left-right sequence before the tunnel.
Here we go, up over the crest, it's blind, you can't see the curve there, battering that the car gets. Now we're going to go left, we're riding on board with a 3rd place man. This is Ken Block, and he gets ahead of Deegan at the very last corner, or does he? Scott Speed takes the victory in this semi, ahead of Ken Block, who was 2 seconds back, and only another 0.2 of a second back was the 3rd place man, Brian Deegan. Ericsson gets 4th ahead of Arpin and Higgins. What drama, and what drama we've had between Higgins and Ericsson as they came over the line. Goodness me, what a race to start part 2 here in Los Angeles. My goodness me. We were levitating in the commentary box, believe us. Scott Speed wins, he goes through to the final, together with Ken Block, who didn't in the first part here in LA, together with Brian Deegan. Makes its way back to port. But who have we got in our next race? Let's have a look at the Royal Purple grid on the front row. It's Patrick Sandell, winner already this year, together with PK Jr., together with Tanner Faust.
And then on row 2, it's Joni Wieman and Sverre Isaksson starting side by side. And then Austin Dine, who came into this weekend 4th in points, fell to 9th after the first round, starts on the last row. And importantly, no Bucky Lasek, another Subaru missing here in the semifinal.
So we got an all Scandinavian second row. We can see Austin Dine, local man at the top of your screen, Patrick Sandell, the Swede, and then Tanner Faust, bottom right of your screen. Well, he's got a real stare in his eyes. Even the very placid, gentle-mannered Tanner Faust looks as if he's well fired up for this semi-final. It's more important than normal, this semi-final, because there's going to be points awarded. Just a couple of points will be available, and when we go racing, it's all about the action down towards the first corner, and that all-important turn 2 when we started the program.
Sandell on the outside, he's going to be odd man out as the freight train's going to come up the inside. Sandell's back to 4th now as it's Faust leading PK and then Ericsson. And look at Sandell all over the back of Johnny Wieman, excuse me, that's Johnny Wieman.
It is as they leap over the jump. We're riding on board with Patrick Sandell as we come back onto the boiling hot tarmac over that jump in the middle of this course. It really loads up the cars as they land down again onto the tarmac. Sverre Isaksson, and he gets past, does he? Oh, let's have a look. No, he doesn't. He fights back. Patrick Sandell's going to have to take second best to the Norwegian at the moment.
And all of this helps Joni Wieman there pull out a little bit of a gap in 3rd, and he needs that. He's had a hard time on pace so far this weekend, so anything that can help him with some breathing room to Isaksson, he's going to love. And again, it's another Beetle out front with Tanner Faust starting to open up a gap. Now Sandell's starting to get impatient. He's pushing hard on the back bumper of Isaksson.
And Sandell's really hurting back here because he was on the podium. He had 3rd position. He took 40 points in the first part of this Los Angeles doubleheader, and at the moment He's right at the back of this freight train. That's just not good enough for the former junior World Rally champion.
And if he's not careful, he's going to just absolutely destroy the front end of that Ford as he hits Isaacson again. Now Isaacson takes the Joker, so does Sandell. Watch what happens to Weeman here. Try to go up the inside. No. Sandell, smart enough, holds the inside line and blocks the opportunity from Weeman.
So then still leading this race is Tanner Faust. There goes PK Jr. Then we've got the white and pink liveried Subaru. That's next through. That's Sverre Isaksson there.
Oh, no.
Look at this battle for fourth. Joni Veman flying Finn literally as he jumps over the jump ahead of the Swede Sandell.
Sandell made a big mistake there, getting too wide, going in too hot into the dirt section, and lost the ability to close the gap on Isaksson. Now he's got to get past by Weeman. That's going to be hard to do.
So we're riding on board with Patrick Sandell. We're in 5th position at the moment as Joni Veman goes to the Cobalt Tools Joker lap. Where does he come out? Oh! Broadsides into the side of the Subaru. Isaksson in real trouble. Those two Scandinavians, all three of them now getting far too close for comfort.
I can only imagine Isaksson probably had no idea that impact was coming. That was a big hit. No damage, it appears, to Weeman's car. And now Weeman is driving like a teenager late for the prom because he knows Isaksson's got to be furious. He'll destroy him if he can get to him.
And we've seen Sverre Isaksson last year in Global Rallycross jump out of his car and deciding to shake people lightly by the throat if he gets really wound up and if he thinks that he's been unfairly treated with unsportsmanlike behavior. Here is our leader with the yellow Beetle. That is Tanner Faust. Then we've got the black and red Ford Fiesta. That's Nelson PK Jr. Then Joni Veman with the red spoiler, and then the white Subaru. That is Isaksson. And then the grey and white Ford Fiesta is Patrick Sandell.
Oh, I hope Isaksson gets a chance to get back to Weeman because his car is destroyed. If he could grab him, he would, through the windows, but Isaksson draws ever closer there to Weeman.
Jumping over the dirt again. There's a front wing that's hanging off the front left of that Subaru, but that won't matter as long as the suspension is right, as long as the tracking is right, as long as it feels all right, he will fight to the finish.
Oh, but the left rear of Isaksson is totally damaged. I can see the toe link is destroyed. The left rear is bent. We come to the white flag now. One more lap. Isaksson, if his car wasn't so damaged, I think he'd have no problem getting to Weeman, but he is severely disabled.
So that rear left wheel pointing at the wrong angle. You might just get a glimpse of it as he tries to chase down Veeman's 3rd position in that Ford Fiesta as they come over the jump once more. 3rd, 4th and 5th position. We're riding with Sandell. Perfect landing back onto the dirt.
And with that left rear towed out, it makes it really difficult in this one right-hander as they come to the tunnel. Look at Sandell. Bunny hops the apex curb, and Isaksson gets drilled again. He's a punching bag out there.
Here we go into that difficult corner. Isaksson holds his line. This is the transfer position. Who's going to get 3rd? Well, Faust has won it from PK Jr. 3rd is going to go to Joni Veman ahead of Isaksson and Sandell. That is how close it was for the guaranteed starting spot on the grid for our finale and the opportunity for 50 points. We hardly saw much of Tanner Faust, but even his sponsors won't mind because he is into the final after this second semi. Faust, PK Jr. and Joni Veman go through. Veman battling with Isaksson, Sandell. Austin Dine didn't finish. Bucky Lassick, he didn't get it to the start line. Top of the list. Now then, after the points after our semi-finals, Ken Block still leads by 46 points ahead of Sebastian Eriksson. Scott Speed now 3rd, Nelson PK Jr. 4th. So the top 4 are within 1 race victory's worth of points of Ken Block, the leader. There are 200 points still in play in 2015, so the top 9, anybody could win this year's Global Rallycross Championship. Well, who's going to be shooting to get those points? That's the big question as we are now on the grids for our LCQ. Let's have a look at the Royal Purple grid. On the front row, it's Patrick Sandell with that fired up Sverre Isaksson and then Sebastian Eriksson.
And then going back to row 2, you've got Arpin, Higgins, Brian Wong. And then row 3, Austin Dine and Travis Pastrana got his car fixed. He's back in the LCQ show. He's going to have to use some of that motocross history to get up to the front.
He certainly is on board with Austin Dine. He had such bad luck in his semi-final. Patrick Sandell didn't go well at all. Travis Pastrana, he had a technical problem. It looked like it was a loose hose, but The Subaru mechanics fixed that in no time at all. Look at the stare from Pastrana. It could only be Travis Pastrana. Sandell beats his arms, getting ready to get wound up, whilst the cool Austin Dine at the top of your screen just selects that first gear. The 10-second board comes away from the front of the grid. Listen to the noise. 650 horsepower. Global Rallycross cars about to get underway for our last chance qualifier. The top 4 will go through to the final.
Sandell with a great start on the outside. A lot of pushing and shoving back from there. Sandell to the lead. What a great move. Gets around Ericsson.
Ericsson in second place, then it's Isaacson in third, Steve Arpin. Here comes David Higgins trying to go around the outside. He might have the inside line. No, it's not going to work. He's going to have a great run over the jump, does Higgins. He touches with Austin Dine, but it's Dine who has the inside line, and it looks like Travis Pastrana manages to go through in front of his teammate, David Higgins.
Austin Dine went over the dirt tabletop with authority, did sort of a lawn dart landing, but he knew he had to go big there in order to stay close and have a chance at transferring here.
You can't take the Cobalt Tools Joker lap on the first lap, so it's all nose to tail as we rattle around this long left-hander over the yump, down then into turn 2. Who's going to be on the marbles? We ride with Austin Dine up towards the dirt, trying to feel the grip through that steering wheel.
And that's Steve Arpin right now in front of him in 4th, Austin Dine in 5th. Arpin represents that transfer spot, so Dine has to get around Arpin to have a chance at making it to the final.
Coming over the yump again here. Oh, Austin Dine, I thought he was going to go for a manoeuvre there. Little bit of opposite lock, grabs a gear, hard on the brakes, down a gear, down another gear, and he manages to squeeze through. He follows through together with Steve Arpin, who goes for the Joker lap. Goodness me.
Wow, and Austin Dine almost got into the back of Arpin as Arpin went for the Joker. Now Dine's got to work his way around Isaacson, but Dine still has the Joker in the bag. He can still take the Joker.
Still leading is Sandell from Ericsson, from Arpin, from Isaacson in that crucial 4th position. Little bit sideways for the new, for 2015 Subaru STI. But it's Austin Dine who's the man on a mission.
Now, if you're Austin Dine, don't make the Viking mad. Oh boy, he just did. But the Viking is spun out and will not have a chance to retaliate. So Austin Dine gets around Isaacson. He still has the Joker. But now Travis Pastrana is coming up on Dine. What happens here in the last corner? Dine takes the Joker. 1 lap to go.
So then, white flag is waved. It's Sandell from Ericsson, from Arpin and Dine in that 4th position.
Now Pastrana still has the Joker, so Travis Pastrana needs to close on Austin Dine as much as he can, tighten up that gap, because the Joker could give him that final transfer spot.
Who's got the great traction on the dirt as they go over the jump? There's the transfer spot. Travis Pastrana with the Red Bull Subaru. Close. He's getting closer up to the black and white Ford Fiesta in front of him. Pastrana still yet to take that Joker. He's coming over the blind crest. Austin Dine gets a little bit sideways. We're going to go with Travis Pastrana to the left-hand side. We've got the shorter run, and we're going to come through.
Oh,
and Travis Pastrana's going to do it. He is. He goes through to the final. Sandell wins the race ahead of Arpin, Ericsson, but it's Pastrana in 4th position, and Travis Pastrana is in the final here in Los Angeles. That is where he wanted to be. He had bad luck in the first part of this LA doubleheader, but Pastrana's in the final. Wow. The winner of the race, Patrick Sandell, he disappeared away, clear air. He didn't have anybody in front of him. He won the race by 3 clear seconds, and that was a race for Pastrana. Patrick Sandell, Steve Arpin, Ericsson and Pastrana now joining the Supercar final at the back of the grid, so they will have an opportunity to score the points. Now let's have a look at this coming together again, Townsend.
Well, if he was mad before from the earlier situation, now Dine is just going to tip him over the top. Isaacson just gets flat out turned and spun out by Austin Dine, and that looks like a NASCAR cool-down lap.
Travis Pastrana, he's managed to get in, but the guys at the front, where we are going to be looking here, is our Royal Purple Grid. The front row has got Ken Block, Tanner Faust, but Scott Speed on the pole position.
And then going back to row 2, you've got PK Jr., who's been coming hard in the points, Brian Deegan and Patrick Sandell, but Ken Block is on the outside of that front row, Toby. He'll be fighting for the inside line like we talked about earlier.
And now if we go to row 3, we got Travis Pastrana, Sebastian Eriksson, Joni Wiemann, Steve Arpin towards the rear of the grid to make it 10 cars in this final with over 600 horsepower each. There is our points leader, Ken Block. We are on board with Mr. Hoonigan, Mr. Gymkhana himself. He didn't score in the first part here in LA. He has to score big points in this final. Scott Speed, he was the winner. And look how cool he looks. Is he about to go racing?
He's got the dominant car. He won the first round. All he needs to do is get a good start. So stay relaxed, stay focused on your reaction time to the lights, and the rest will work its way out. Now for these guys at the back, you've got to go, and go hard.
Here we go in Los Angeles for the second part of our doubleheader. Wait for the lights to go green. We're underway. Scott Speed with the blue VW. Ken Block's giving him a great run for his money on the outside. Cutting up in second place is Brian Deegan. Nelson Piquet Jr. is back a bit. Somebody goes over the bump. Somebody's going to hit the styrofoam. Oh, Block goes to second. How did he do that?
Block, he did that by refusing to lift off the throttle as Tanner Faust, Sandell, 4 wide coming through that last corner.
Oh, that is a brilliant first corner from Ken Block, and now he's got Scott Speed in his sights as we peel back onto the tarmac. There is Piquet Jr. He's not having a good day so far in this final. He's behind the Canadian cowboy, Steve Arpin.
I still can't believe the start from this guy, Ken Block. If there's such a thing, Tanner Faust gets all over the back of Ken Block.
Block's got a problem. Block's got a problem. He's limping. He's going slow, and he's got the pace back, it seems. I thought he was going to be in trouble as he came over the finish line.
Oh, yeah, he's got a steering issue.
He's not good.
The front end of Ken Block is totally damaged. He cannot control the car. On board now with Tanner Faust, side by side with Piquet. They'll come to the jump.
Yes, it's the steering. You're spot on, Townsend. Ken Block's steering is not in the same direction side by side. He's scrabbling to get around the corner. Oh, what is going wrong in Los Angeles for Ken Block?
And your championship points leader is suffering another disaster. 2 rounds in a row, and Scott Speed is going to the front, is in the front and going away with the lead.
And he's running away with it. Second place is Brian Deegan. Meanwhile, we come back. There is Ken Block limping the Ford Fiesta round. Oh, what do they have to do here in Los Angeles? There goes second place Deegan. Yellow, the Beetle. That is Tanner Faust. He's in third. And Nelson Piquet Jr. has to make hay.
So many rounds this year, Tanner Faust felt like Ken Block just shoved him out of the way. As we watch Scott Speed, Brian Deegan, and then Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust, I think, just got fed up with the ping pong ball antics, and he got payback.
There is Tanner Faust with the car that finished second in the first part of our LA doubleheader. He's in third at the moment. He's chasing Brian Deegan. Looks like there's the rear bumper hanging off the back of Brian Deegan's Ford Fiesta. There is the orange Fiesta. That is Steve Arpin. He comes across the line in 6th position. But the man running away with this race is Scott Speed. And let's keep an eye on Deegan.
Not only has Speed run away so far, but he hasn't taken the joker. As Piquet gets wide, that's going to open things up for Sandell. Piquet and Sandell side by side off the jump.
Whoa, Patrick Sandell. Oh, here comes Steve Arpin. Gives Nelson Piquet a bit of a love tap. And Piquet's going to lose another position as Steve Arpin rockets through.
But Piquet's going to take it right back in the next corner. Great give and take over under action there from Piquet and Arpin.
Hugging those curbs like his grandmother as he comes through the left-right series. They come back onto this home straight. Piquet Jr. goes over the line. 5th position for him. That might only be 30 points if we put the flag out now. Ken Block is continuing, but he's 10th, he's last, and you only get 5 points back there.
And keep in mind, Scott Speed coming from way back in the championship. He moved up to 3rd after the first round. Now watch this, side by side again, Piquet and Arpin. Arpin up the inside. He's going to slide wide again. Piquet's going to try to dip inside here, but he can't.
That's it. Nelson Piquet Jr. New color scheme for this second pass here in LA. The black and red replacing the black and yellow. I remind you that was the battle for 5th. We're on board with the leader, super smooth Scott Speed.
Oh, this is a Sunday cruise for Scott Speed. He's just taking care of the equipment, specifically his Yokohama tires. You never see this guy over-rotate the car. Not a whiff of smoke comes off the tires. It is precision perfect driving from Scott Speed.
One hand on the wheel, one hand on the gear shifter. It's all looked so easy, if only it was.
Well, and driving easy is what makes it easy on the tires. He's just not getting carried away. Never really has. He's taken all of that Formula One experience, all the go-kart experience, and put it here as the battle for third continues. This is Sandell working. Now it's caught the back of Tanner Faust.
Yeah, nothing between them. He's made up time. This could be the Joker lap going towards Sandell, and he elevates himself up into third position, just as he had in the first part here in LA.
Not a big deal for Tanner Faust, Toby, as long as he can close the gap back up here, because Tanner Faust still has the Joker lap to take.
He can still play that card as they struggle.
Oh, Sandell gets wide. That's the kind of little mistake that's really going to hurt him as they come around for the Joker again. It's so critical to keep things tidy there on the dirt.
We're on board with Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust, winner of 5 global rallycross races already in his career, but it's Scott Speed and Ken Block who are tied at the top of the overall victory table with 6 each.
Let's see if Tanner takes the Joker. No, he's going to wait at least another lap.
Okay, 3 laps to go now here in the port of Los Angeles. Leading out of shot is still Scott Speed. These two are catching Deegan for seconds.
They are. I'm surprised actually that Tanner did not take the Joker that lap, because that would have allowed him to go up and start threatening Faust a little bit earlier. Remember, there's only 3 laps to go, only 10 lap mains here in Red Bull GRC. So if I'm Faust, I'm going to take the Joker this lap. All the while, this cat is just cruising. There's not a scuff on that race car, and there hasn't been all weekend.
They can put it in the truck, and apart from replacing that rear bumper, take it straight to Barbados. It's absolutely immaculate. Let's see who takes the Cobalt Tools Joker lap. Nobody. There goes Deegan with the black Ford Fiesta, then the white flashes on the side of Sandell. 2 laps remaining, as Tanner Faust is just got a hand on a podium, but he has got that Joker card still to play.
Yeah, and again, I'm surprised that he doesn't take the Joker earlier. It would allow him to go after Deegan. Here, Sandell a little tidier that time. He stays on the blue groove. Sandell's already taken the Joker.
But Speed and Deegan have yet to take the Joker. So is one driver waiting for the other? The spotters are high in the tower. They can see all the racetrack. They're trying to work out who might be where, when, by the time the stagger unravels.
Let's see what Tanner does here, because he's really being held up now by Sandell. Deegan took the Joker, so now Deegan is out further. So really all Tanner has to play for here is the final spot on the podium. He won't challenge for second place.
White flag has been waved. It's the last lap of Ken Block gets lapped. He's struggling with his steering.
What does Ken Block decide to do with Tanner Faust as he comes by? Let's watch this situation closely.
Well, he gets lapped, but he will be scoring 5 points after this final as the battle is on. But Scott Speed has still got a Joker lap to take, so that lead might unravel. Deegan gives him a bit of a tap once, twice. Scott's going to go left. Deegan has to go the long way round. But it's going to be Scott Speed who does the double here in Los Angeles with the Volkswagen Beetle. What a great result for Brian Deegan. He gets third position. And it's Tanner Faust who gets third place ahead of Patrick Sandell by just over 1/10 of a second on the line. But it's all the weekend going to that man there. Super smooth, Scott Speed. What a weekend. The double has been done, and he is now the most successful ever global rallycross champion with 7 wins, going to Scott Speed. What a weekend Scott Speed has had here in Los Angeles. He has totally swept up and taken a maximum tally of 100 points after his 2 victories here. Wow, look at that. Scott Speed winning the second race ahead of Brian Deegan, who had a stellar afternoon, and Tanner Faust getting on the podium again ahead of Sandell Arpin. Travis Pastrana in 6th. Meanwhile, Will Christian is down there with our double winner. Completely turns the championship table on its head. Wow, Ken Block still leads, but only by 8 points now that Scott Speed has really closed in. Sandell 33 back, Nelson Piquet Jr., Sebastian Eriksson, those top 5 all within 1 race victory's worth of points. And we've got 150 points still in play with Barbados and Las Vegas.